Episode 1: The Power of Identity, the Psychology of Who You Think You Are. Welcome to the very first episode of The Inner Architect. This podcast is proudly presented by www.selfdevelopmentpsychology.com, your dedicated space for exploring the intersection of psychological science, neurobiology, and personal transformation. Today, we are starting at the very foundation of change. We often talk about self-improvement as if it were a list of chores. Eat better, work harder, wake up earlier. But have you ever noticed a recurring pattern in your life? You start a new project with high energy. You buy the books, you set the alarms, and for 3 days, you are a superhero. But then, on the fourth day, a hidden gravity pulls you back. You find yourself back on the couch, back to the old habits, feeling the sting of another failed attempt. Most people blame a lack of discipline. But as a specialist in psychology, I am here to tell you that you don't have a discipline problem. You have an identity mismatch. You're trying to build a skyscraper on a foundation designed for a garden shed. In this episode, we are going to deconstruct the why behind your behavior. Everything you see and read at www.selfdevelopmentpsychology.com is built on the core principle that lasting change is a bottom-up process. It is not about what you do, it is about who you believe you are. Part 1: The biology of the comfort zone. To understand identity, we must first understand how your brain views the self. Your brain's primary job is not to make you happy or successful. Its job is to keep you alive. To keep you alive, it seeks efficiency. It creates a mental map of who you are because that map saves energy. If you believe you are a procrastinator, your brain doesn't have to decide whether to work or watch TV. It already knows the answer. It chooses the path of least resistance. When you try to change a habit without changing your identity, you are essentially declaring war on your own biology. This leads us to a powerful psychological concept called cognitive dissonance. This is the mental tension we feel when our actions do not align with our beliefs. Imagine a man who identifies as a non-smoker but finds himself holding a cigarette. The discomfort he feels is immense because his action contradicts his identity. Now, imagine a man who identifies as a smoker trying to quit. When he is offered a cigarette, his internal struggle is much harder because his identity is still tied to the habit. He is fighting himself. At www.selfdevelopmentpsychology.com, we teach that the key to effortless change is to align your who with your what. If you identify as an athlete, you don't try to go to the gym. You go because that's what an athlete does. It becomes as natural as breathing. Part 2: The layers of behavior change. Let's visualize the onion model of change. The outermost layer is outcomes. This is the world of results: losing 10 kilograms, earning a promotion, or finishing a marathon. This is where most people start. They say, I want that result, so I will change my behavior. But outcomes are about getting. The middle layer is processes. This is your system, the habits you perform every day. It's the routine you follow at the office or the way you meal prep on Sundays. Processes are about doing. But the core, the deepest layer, is identity. This involves your beliefs, your worldview, and your self-judgment. Identity is about being. The reason most self-help fails is that it's outcome-driven. You focus on what you want to achieve, but you keep the same underlying beliefs. You might force yourself to be productive for a week, but if your core identity is, I am lazy, your brain will eventually find a way to return to that truth. To make change stick, you must shift the direction. Instead of focusing on the outcome, you must focus on the identity and let the outcomes be a natural byproduct. Part 3: Building the evidence trail. Now, how do you actually change an identity that has been with you for 20, 30, or 40 years? You cannot simply think yourself into a new identity. You can't sit in front of a mirror and repeat, I am a millionaire, if your bank account says otherwise. Your brain is too smart for that. It knows when you're lying. Identity change requires evidence. Think of your identity as a legal case in a courtroom. Every action you take is a vote for a certain version of yourself. If you go to the library and read for 20 minutes, you have cast a vote for being a learner. If you choose a salad over a burger, you have cast a vote for being healthy. No single vote will win the election, but as the votes build up, the weight of evidence shifts. This is why small wins are so psychologically powerful. At www.selfdevelopmentpsychology.com, we emphasize the 2-minute rule. If you want to become a writer, write for 2 minutes every day, not 2 hours. Why? Because the goal isn't the writing. The goal is to prove to your brain that you are the type of person who doesn't miss a day of writing. You are building a resume of evidence for your new self. Part 4. The Architect's Blueprint. As you listen to this, I want you to conduct a self-identity audit. Ask yourself, what are the labels I have accepted? We often use the phrase, I am, followed by something negative. I am bad with technology. I am a night owl. I am socially awkward. When you say I am, you are giving your brain a command. You are setting the boundaries of your own prison. But remember, you are the architect. Those boundaries are just lines on a blueprint, and blueprints can be redrawn. Take a moment to imagine the person you want to become. Don't look at their house or their car. Look at their character. Are they courageous? Are they disciplined? Are they kind? Once you identify that core trait, ask yourself, what would a courageous person do in this situation? Then, go do that one small thing. This journey of self-development is not a sprint. It is a gradual re-architecture of the soul. You are not fixing yourself because you aren't broken. You are simply upgrading your system to a version that serves you better. As we conclude this first session, your homework is simple. Go to www.selfdevelopmentpsychology.com and download our Identity Audit Worksheet. Identify one old label you are ready to retire and choose one small vote you will cast for your new identity today. Remember, every time you choose the version of yourself you want to be, you are rewriting your future. You are the architect of your own life. Thank you for listening to episode 1. In our next episode, we are going to go even deeper. We will talk about the shadow work, how to deal with the parts of your identity that you've tried to hide or suppress, and how to integrate them into a powerful, whole version of yourself. This has been a production for www.selfdevelopmentpsychology.com. Until next time, keep casting those votes and keep building from within.